Hello and welcome to another video from the only channel that you need to not only survive the current apocalypse but actually enjoy it. And today I'm just talking about a change that's coming on my channel that for most YouTubers is not an issue. The only reason it's an issue for me is because I've been doing this for about 6 years, and in the 6 years I've been doing it, I have had people begging me to let them send some money or begging me to put ads on my channel, and they're reasonable because everybody says we know you know that it takes a lot of effort and a lot of resources to keep your YouTube channel going, and we benefit from your YouTube channel, and so we don't mind sharing the cost. Okay, that's reasonable. Honestly, I do not think that it's wrong for somebody to have ads on a channel that they work hard on. I've never thought that, and I've never said that. When people send me comments like that, I usually say, as long as I don't have to, I won't. If I ever get into a position where I can no longer afford to keep this channel going, or I can't produce videos anymore, I'll let you know, and then you can send me money, or I'll put ads on the channel. And so that's where we are now. And it's a lot of why I never did it to start with is because of perception. I know that there are people out there that have 15 minutes a week to find the truth for themselves, and I just wanted to make that search as easy as possible. Because a lot of times I know subscribers will say, "Oh, you're such a good teacher, and your Bible truth is perfect, and you sound just like this other man. Would you please go check him out, because he is exactly like you?" And I'll go to the channel, and there's a video of some guy talking, wearing a suit, got short hair, and all around his page will be stuff about send $20 for special miracle prayer beads. And I just want to make sure, because I turn that off. I don't have to listen to what that guy has to say. And I don't even know if that maybe is just a joke when people send me that stuff. But I wanted to make sure that nobody associated me with a religion. A lot of people in this world have been harmed, irreparably harmed, by religion. And so they, these are people that are wounded. I don't want them to perceive me as being in any way associated with something that may have caused them harm in the past. So I didn't put the ads there. They just weren't necessary. Now I'm in a bit of a bind. I don't see any way out of it, and it's been going on for way too long. I waited to the last minute, and so now I've got to fix this. Probably a month ago or 2 months ago, I told everybody that I wasn't making videos, but I would be making them soon, because it's just so difficult to make videos with my computer that I got now that I didn't want to do it. But I had money saved up, and I had a computer on the way. It was just that sure. And somebody wrote back and said, they said, well, let us pay for your computer. We love your channel. And I said, no, I'm too close now. I've already saved up the money. I've been looking at computers. I got a good idea of what I can get. I don't want anybody helping me out, because I fixed this problem on my own. Well, what happened? And here's where I got saved the money, because every month some kind of emergency comes up. You always have that. But over the course of my life, I've still been able to come up with cash for other things. I used to keep a running list of all the stuff I wanted and all the stuff I needed. And every month when I got my check, first thing I do is I check the list and see what on that list was reasonable. What could I reasonably afford that month? And the list was always at about $1,000. Now, if I had a list, I don't even have a list anymore. But if I did, it'd probably be like $1 million, because since I've gotten on Social Security disability, I think the roof has started leaking, the car's not acting right, my refrigerator broke, my washing machine's broke. But when you get in a situation like that and you're looking at everything you got to spend money on, you think, well, I can wash clothes by hand, because if I buy a washing machine, or if I fix this washing machine, then I have to throw out the idea of getting a computer. I'm not going to do that. No matter what happens, I'm going to get this computer. And the reason that even came up, I guess about a year ago, I had some spare money, and I went out. I knew Cruising the Coast was coming up. That's a big car event down here. And I had looked at a few videos of Cruising the Coast in preparation for it, and I saw that there were videos out there that did not look all that great of hot rods and antique cars going up and down the beach. And those videos had millions of hits. And I'm thinking, I could do way better than that. So I went and bought some equipment. I had some signage put on my car, and I went out there and I shot about 100, 200 hours of footage. And I was counting my money while I was driving, because I just knew that I was going to get so many hits that I would have the single most popular Cruising the Coast channel that exists. But what happened, I got all that footage home, I put it in the computer, and the computer just locked up. The computer I had was given to me by a subscriber back in the day. When I first started my channel and people asked me my name and my address, my phone number, I would just give it to them. I wasn't scared of them. I figured if they're on my channel, then they're like-minded people that it's safe to do that. And so people were sending me stuff, and one man sent me a computer, and he told me this computer's good for everything, but you probably can't do any gaming on it. Well, I didn't care. I don't play games. You know, I can check my email, I can watch YouTube videos, I'm good to go. But a gaming computer has about the same amount of resources in it as what you need to do high definition video. Now, I'm not doing high definition video because I like slick looking stuff, or you know, I'm you know, in a competitive market for YouTube dollars. But honestly, the things that people would look at in the past is not what they'll look at today. You can go back and look at YouTube videos that have been up for 10 years and they're not worth watching. And it's not that the information in the videos is no good, it's just that back then people had these grainy cameras, the sound wasn't good, and it's just uncomfortable. We don't get enough time to be sitting in front of the computer all day. If we're only going to get 15 minutes a week to watch videos, we're going to watch something we want to watch. And you know, the proof is in the pudding. Some of the greatest movies of all time were produced in the silent era. People would pay good money to go into a theater, watch a grainy black and white video with some lady playing a piano in the corner. There ain't nobody going to do that today. And even the things that we produce right now that are ultra high definition with super sound and all the bells and whistles, captions and background music and all that stuff, well, who's to say that 10 years from now we're not sitting in front of a holographic machine watching all this stuff in 3 dimensions, you know, and then people ain't interested in watching the stuff that's being produced today. And so, see, that's all part of it. You know, I think the information in my videos is great. I know for a fact that there's a lot of people that appreciate it, because I get messages all the time saying, even if you just uploaded the sound and you didn't have any video, we would watch it. Yeah, I know that. You're my subscribers. I got 15,000 subscribers. Probably 500 are actually watching my videos. And those 500 will watch anything I produce no matter what. But that's not what we're here for. You know, not just me, but you and me are here to try to give hope to every human being on this planet. And once again, if somebody's got 15 minutes a week where they don't have to work, they're going to be looking for something, and they're only going to watch a few seconds of it to determine whether or not it's worth it to watch the rest. And so you want to make sure that the experience is as comfortable for them as possible. Otherwise, you lose your audience before you even have an audience. So that's the whole point. And here's another thing. When I first got on YouTube and I finally gave in and let them put ads on my non-Bible videos, I got these reports saying where the videos were being watched, what was generating the money. And first thing I noticed is that when it listed who was watching by country, my videos are being watched in over 200 nations. And most of those nations do not speak English. One of my German subscribers, about that same time, contacted me and said he wanted to talk to me on Skype. I had never done Skype before, so I had to set it all up. And it was back in the day when I would just talk to anybody. And in very, very broken English, he told me that he loved my videos, but it would be really good if I would get an audio recorder, because the audio that the camera was recording the quality wasn't good enough for him to understand everything. So the way he explained it, he was able to understand about half of what I was saying, and then he would take words he didn't understand and try to look them up. But because the audio was so unclear, Google could not correct them into usable words. You know, Google will spell check anything you put in there, but you got to be at least close. You can't be way off. So anyways, I bought an audio recorder, And not this one. I bought a really cheap one. It lasted about a month, and so then I had to spend $80 on this. But you know, having this $80 audio recorder allows me to shoot the video with a $15 camera, and I promise you, I've got probably 6 of these things, and they were $15 a piece. You know, I bought them over time. But see, that even adds in an extra level of difficulty. And just so you can see for yourself the reason I do this. Now, back in the past, I would stand right in front of the camera where I could talk right into the microphone. I would talk very loud, very clear. And so things were almost okay. But like right now, this is what you would hear if I didn't have an audio recorder. So, you know, you get to see me in my tent in the woods, but you're not getting to understand anything I'm saying. So anyways, this guy, I started thinking I really do have to have good audio for my audience, because my picture is not what's important, it's the things I say. I think when I changed from the 480p cameras to the 720p cameras, most people were easily able to recognize that the quality went up. And the reason I say that is because I didn't make an announcement about it, but I did get a couple of compliments from people about the quality of the video. From this video, I'm sure that everybody can tell that adding this separate audio recorder increased the quality of the videos. So probably what you're wondering is how a computer can increase the quality of the videos, or what changes will take place with SustenanceNCovering if I get an upgraded computer. And here's the thing, I live just like you. So in the course of a day, I've got to cook, I've got to clean, maintain the yard, run errands. And so all of that time is gone. There's no way that I'm ever going to recover that. There's no way that I can say that in the future I'm going to quit doing those things, because I know they're going to go on as long as civilization goes on. But there are things within my control. And one of those is the amount of time that I put into editing video currently. And this is just a general rule of thumb. When I make a video, a script takes about 1 hour to write. 1 hour for every minute of script. So in a 60-minute script, a 1 hour script will take me 60 hours to write. And that's just a general rule of thumb. It's not always true. Some videos are pretty quick because they're not really, really deep. Those take about maybe 30 minutes for every minute. And the reason for that is if I'm writing a script, it's because it's something that's important to me, and it's something that's really, really technical, really deep. Currently, the script I'm working on is still part of the Bible Code video series I've been promising for many years. This script has taken me at least 2 hours for every minute, because it's a lot of Greek, a lot of English, a lot of archaeology, and I have to do a lot of deep research on everything I say, because there's always those people sitting there crouching, waiting to jump on any mistake I make. Not only that, but a lot of the things I say end up getting passed along by word of mouth. And so I don't want to put some kind of error in my teachings that's going to become an error in somebody else's teachings. I've become pretty comfortable with handling people that call me out on stuff, but a lot of people listening to what I'm saying are really new to this whole Bible truth thing. And if they get in a bind, they're going to have a hard time getting out of it. So 2 hours on a minute of script is worth it. But what isn't worth it is the editing. Currently, it takes me about 1 hour to edit a minute of video. Now, this video is not going to take that long. This is probably going to be a 30-minute video. It's not going to take me 30 hours to edit this. I'm basically going to add the soundtrack, split the video into 2 or 3 parts, and that's it. Normally, I come out and shoot. You'll hear trains going by. You'll hear them at the firing range. You'll hear roosters. I'll go back in the house. I'll take and cut all of the sections out that are acceptable, and then I'll come out and reshoot those sections and hope that somebody doesn't, drive a helicopter over me or something while I'm doing it. I'll add captions. I'll mix the order of the clips up. I'll add photos. And that with the computer I've got currently, I've got to do each of those things in one step. So if I've got to add 30 seconds of caption, what I have to do is take and cut out that 30-second clip of video and put the 30 seconds of audio in it, run that through the editor, wait for it to get done, and then add the caption and run that through the editor, and then somehow put in the title where it belongs in the video and put it in a folder, and then go on to the next piece. And then when it's all over with, I have to go back and put that all together. And in general, I can't put it all together at once. If I have like 50 or 60 clips, I may go just do 4 at a time, or maybe just 2 at a time, and make those into individual clips and put them in folders and retitle them. And so, yeah, I'm looking at right now, I've got 4 parts done on the Bible Code. Well, I've got 3 parts completely ready, completely polished, ready to go on the Bible Code video series. The 4th one is done, but it needs a little cleaning up. The 5th one, everything is there, but it's all out of order. In other words, every time I get an idea in my head about something I want to add to that, I'll open the folder, I'll type it all out, and I close the folder. But those things are just randomly put in there. So I've got to go back through and kind of rearrange them all, and then go back and look up the verses and make sure they're correct. And same thing as always. But and I may be working under false pretenses. People who I've talked to about this problem say that it's simply my computer. I need to get a gaming computer or some kind of computer that's able to handle a real heavy graphics, audio, editing. But if I get that computer, apparently all I have to do is put everything in at once, line it all up one time, and press the button, and it's done. I don't have to do little bits and pieces. I don't have to sit there and wait on the computer. And it's going to always work. See, with my computer I've got right now, I can do a simple little clip and go away for 5 minutes and come back, and the clip is ready, and I add it in and upload it and find out that what I put in there is not what ends up in there, and I have to pull the whole video down and fix whatever problems are in it. And so, you know, I mean, we're talking about, I've got a limited time anyway. The time that I don't spend on editing is time I can spend writing or producing actual video. So hopefully we'll get that done. And you know, as time goes on, I really intend on one day getting a camera that does good video and good audio with a separate audio jack, because that's one more step that I won't have to do. You know, I actually have to spend about, if it's a half-hour video, I have to spend a half hour lining the audio and the video up, and then another half hour waiting for that to all process through the computer. See if I could just eliminate that step. So as time goes on, hopefully we'll get to the point where I don't have to make any more improvements. But I got a feeling that that's never going to come. You know, if I was to wake up tomorrow with $1 million in my pocket, I'd hire an editor, hire a cameraman, and all of that. But basically, the basic goal for right now, this is the only thing that's really on my mind, is just get a laptop that can take all of those hours of editing out of the process. Because honestly, I think the information is important enough that if I have to, I'll write it on paper with a crayon and then hand deliver it to everybody's house. But as long as technology's around and I can work with the technology, that's what I'm going to do. And any technology that'll make this job a little easier, that's going to be the goal. So, you know, as time goes on, I'm making improvements. I'm not making improvements to impress anybody. I'm making improvements because I want the experience of watching my videos to be comfortable, so that as I can get as big of an audience as possible, not because I'm an attention hound or something. It's because I think what I'm saying is extremely important. And in fact, just to let you know, I believe that the day will come when every human on this planet is aware of the things that I teach about the Bible. And a lot of the fantasizing I do, my daydreaming, involves that. And that's another reason I'm putting ads on the channel. Currently, I barely can get to the store and back because of the cost associated. And in my mind, I'm thinking there's going to come a day when you and I, me and my subscribers, are going to be able to get together. I don't know if we'll be able to get together here in my forest, or if I'm going to have to travel around the country staying with people. But all of that is a complete fantasy right now in my current situation. You know, I've got health concerns, I've got financial concerns, I've got dogs and cats and chickens. And so there's a whole lot of things that would have to be worked out before any of that could happen. But I don't believe that we're all going to go into the promised land via the internet. It's going to be an actual fleshly, physical thing where we are walking or in physical contact with one another when these things go down. This computer deal is just a way for us to communicate now while we're in the interim, waiting for that day. Now, even though there is that matter of perception, and that I just want to make sure that people don't perceive me as like any other church, a really, really big reason why I have always kind of shied away from gifts. And look, I've had a lot of gifts sent to me. Like I said, when I first started the channel, I was telling everybody who I was and where I lived. And I won't do that now because it's caused me some problems in the past. And so, don't watch this video and say, well, I'm gonna Skype with him, because chances are I won't Skype with you. There's a lot of people I will, but there's certain things that I have to feel comfortable to do that, and it takes a lot for me to feel comfortable anymore. But in my life, everything that I have ever done has failed. Everything financial. When I built my first house, I took into consideration everything. Because, there's a scripture in the Bible. It's like, what man builds a tower and don't count the cost because he doesn't finish the tower, everybody's going to laugh at him. Well, I made sure I had enough money to finish the tower. But as I finally got everything in place, I got all my furniture in, got all my appliances in, somebody broke into my house. I was completely content. I had transportation, I had housing, I had food, I had all the devices I need to cook the food, I had TVs so I could entertain myself. And we came home one day, some friends took us somewhere, and when we came home, the car was gone. And sure enough, I go in the house, and the car keys are gone because somebody has gone through the house and taken everything out of it, and they used my car to haul the stuff away. Now, I thought that my life could not get any worse, because in my mind, I'm thinking, I spent my whole life saving money to build this house, and now I have nothing. But about 2 weeks later, they came back, and they took, at this time, they really did take everything. They ripped the light fixtures out of the ceiling, ceiling fans. Every single thing that was in my house was gone, and that was it. We sold it. We sold the land, and we sold the shell of the house, and that's how we got this piece of property here and the slab for the house I'm in now. But even the garden, I sat there and I counted the cost, and I thought, if I build these raised beds and I buy all this vermiculite and peat moss and compost and buy seeds, am I going to be able to make myself come out here and work this garden every day? Because you can't just throw a bunch of money at the dirt and have a successful garden. And I finally was comfortable with the fact that, no matter how much I spent, it would be worth it. So I spent all this money, and I did everything I was supposed to, but I never took into consideration what would happen if a neighbor just got it in his head to come over here with a gallon of Roundup and spray my garden. And that's what happened. You cannot think of every contingency. And see, even with this forest, I wish, I have no desire to change anything I've ever done in my life. Obviously there's little details that I should have done differently, but if I could go back in time, I would bring one of these cameras with me and videotape this place. I wasted 10 years of my life building this forest. And it was going to be self-maintaining. I knew if I got it to a point where it could take, because that forest had real trees, talking about trees that you couldn't wrap your arms around them, 120 feet tall. And right about the time everything was looking really, really like paradise, Hurricane Katrina come through, and all them big trees went down. You've seen the videos. I do have some 400, 500-year-old trees here on the place, and a couple of 100-year-old trees up there, but this is nothing. This is nothing compared to what I did before. So that's like, it failed. And it's not somebody else's failure. That was my failure. And I've got that history. I've got a history of every single thing that I put effort, put resources into failing. And I know there's people out there that are in a similar situation, but I can't imagine anybody going through what I've gone through. I did a video a while back. I went into business. I never made a penny on the business because after paying for my food and my gas, I put every single thing I made back into the business. And then in a matter of days, someone pretending to be my friend went to every one of my clients and put me out of business in a day. So the whole thing, everything I had done for all those years was gone for no reason. And now here's the point I'm trying to make. If all of y'all got together and bought me some really cool $10,000 setup with computers and cameras and sent that to me, there's no reason to believe that, you know, the day I get it, the house burns down and all that equipment burns up. The point I'm trying to make is I don't want to drag anybody into this collapsing world with me. You know, I want to be able to provide something that people can enjoy, people can learn from, and something that's beneficial for somebody. The last thing I want to do is harm somebody. So that's another reason that I've gone all these years without accepting any gifts, without putting ads on the channel, because I just don't want to be a drain on anybody else. You know, because it seems to me that if I have $10, $10 will be stolen from me. If I have $1 million, $1 million will be stolen from me. So the best option is just to have zero to start with. And that's where I've always existed. Problem is now that, you know, as I get older and I can't do stuff, you know, things are changing. It's like I got so close to paying for this computer, and then out of the blue, I'm pushing my mower, which is a $400 mower, and it just exploded. I mean, it was a popping noise. I looked down, there was oil and metal fragments all over the ground. There's a hole in the side of my engine block about that big. And, you know, all along I had been saying, well, no matter what happens, this money that I have saved is going towards a computer, not spending on nothing else. And so as time has gone on and things have broken, I've just ignored them because I didn't want to lose that possibility. But when the mower went, then that was a different thing, because the mower is essential for maintaining my forest. And even though I was kind of at the point where I said, okay, that's it, I'm just going to let the forest go back into stickers and vines, I also have my diabetes to think about, and the diabetes is under control right now. But if I don't push the more, it's not under control. In other words, I've tried the diet, my sugar's still way too high. I've tried the pills, sugar's still high, and I'm talking about pills and diet together. Sugar's still too high, which means I got to go on insulin. But I get out here with that more, and the pills and the diet, my sugar is 100% normal. I mean, just like anybody out there. So I can push that more, or I can go on insulin. That's my choices, and I choose to push the more. I could just go do any kind of aerobic activity. I got stairs on the front of my house. I could spend an hour a day walking up and down them stairs and probably still keep my diabetes under control, but that doesn't sound like something I want to do. You know, if I'm going to exert myself, do harm to myself, get my muscles sore, I want to have something to show for it. So the computer has been put on the back burner again, and the priority is the more. So I should, you know, I don't know. You'll see the ads. Hopefully they'll generate enough income. If they don't, I'll work something out. We'll see you. Hey, love you. And as always, if you do not want to survive, don't listen to me.